grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety-splicket, go watch
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch Movie, episode 123. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
The plane, Rob! The plane! Today we are covering the new Blumhouse film, Fantasy Island, where all your fantasies come true, kind of. But before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. Oh, man. So we get a reason. I'm going to say a reason. I don't know if I believe it fully. Why Ben Affleck skipped on the upcoming The Batman. I can't say people don't have their afflictions. It just seems like an odd time to come out with this and say, this is why I'm leaving. So apparently he went through a rough patch. Speaking with New York Times, Ben Affleck said, I drank relatively normally for a long time. What happened was that I started drinking more and more when my marriage was falling apart. This was 2015, 2016. My drinking, of course, created more marital problems. The biggest regret of my life is this divorce. The problematic shoot for Justice League then sapped his interests to return to the role, says the piece. At one point, he also showed the Batman script to a friend. I showed somebody the Batman script. They said, I think the script is good. I also think you'll drink yourself to death if you go through what you just went through again. Speaking on the problematic shoot of Justice League, I guess it was a big issue shooting that film. And apparently he was afraid he would go back into alcoholism if he wore the cape and cowl again. What do you think?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, it sounds plausible, and I do, for what it's worth, applaud him for taking care of himself over a part or a role. Yeah. So I guess I could give it to him there if that's accurate. Yeah. But also, I think it's easier. I think it's easier to say no, or it's harder to say no to something when it's sitting right there in front of you. Mm-hmm. So maybe if he had done it, then it could have been a test for him to see that he actually did have the strength to stop his drinking, yet still, deal with adversity. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
alcoholism is a very real thing.
It's nothing to play with. To play with. But again, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't make a decision for somebody. They got to make that for themselves.
Exactly. And it's Batman. And I get it. Like, maybe he's looking at the total package of the DC cinematic universe and is like, man, this is a disaster. Is this going to be the film that fixes it? And mm-hmm. And, even with that script, it was rewritten. They got different directors on and, changed hands multiple times before they got it right. So I'm sure that even hurt him a little bit. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I just, yeah.
He could just be tired. He could just be tired of it. You never know. Yeah. It's not the first time he's worn a costume. I mean, they do for Daredevil, mm-hmm. which is why, I mean, he wants to play superheroes, but at the same time, he did
Batman 3 times. Right?
Yeah, maybe he's matured out of it. Maybe he's like, okay, I've done that. I'm ready to tackle something else. That also happens. So it doesn't matter what the reason. If he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Animated Gremlins series. It's good news here. HBO Max is doing this series. The original director, Joe Dante, will be consulting on the upcoming animated series, which makes me happy. Mm-hmm. It says he's consulting. It's good. It's going to be good. He's very pleased with the way things are going. It brings back the character of Mr. Wing when he was a boy and when he first discovered the Mogwai. It's set in China in the 20s and it's animated, so it's very big in the sense that if you try to shoot in a theatrical film, it would be outrageously expensive. So, yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm looking forward to that to see, how the rules get created. Don't feed them after midnight and don't get them wet and all that stuff, and exactly how he discovered them. So that should be fun. New Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted Face the Music. You excited for old Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan?
Oh, of course. Who doesn't like those movies?
They are very fun, and Keanu is on a roll as of late, so hopefully this keeps that roll going. So apparently it's going to have a kind of a real time limit element, according to the film. Like they're going to be racing against the clock, but in kind of a real time way. He didn't really go into much detail, but it sounds like an interesting twist on their already time traveling ways. Mm-hmm. And you got to do something different with it being this long after, Bogus Journey. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I've seen them in certain ads. Let's discuss the Showbiz.
You've seen one of them.
Yes, exactly. How does that make you feel? Do you feel not selling out? Because it's also promoting the movie. They mixed them. Preston. I'm sorry. Alex Winter is in these Walmart ads, and nothing against Walmart. Walmart's a great place. I shop there quite often. But he's in these ads, and does it lower his status? Does it make you less interested?
Not really, because there's like other people who are in popular TV commercials who are big, who are like getting their own movies. So It doesn't really. I don't think it lowers it. I think they've crossed over now. Yeah. I think you can do either, whether it be TV, whether it be commercials, movies. It doesn't matter. I think it's all the same.
Because it used to be taboo to be a movie star going down to TV.
It used to be. It used to be like that's the end of your career. But
yeah. Now it's like TV's where some of the best stuff is happening.
Yeah, I feel like it's all the same now.
Yeah.
And I think commercials are definitely sneaking in there.
Yeah. Because Samuel L. has the, what is it? What's in your wallet commercials. And I'm not going to go through a lot of ads because none of them are paying us. But I saw that and I was like, he's helping with groceries? What's going on? He's supposed to be saving the universe with Keanu, which I doubt, like you said, one of them is. I doubt if you'll ever see Keanu.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that. I don't see him doing that. I don't think the money would have been big enough for him to get him in there.
Yeah,
but they could afford one of them. That's what that commercial looked like to me. They could afford one of them. That guy.
And I'm sure it's introducing the character to a new audience because there are some kids who don't know who the fuck Bill and Ted are.
Right.
So yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was on the fence. I saw it and I cringed a little bit, quite honestly, and not just because of the product, just seeing him in that light anyway. But yeah, knowing they put some money into it because it's CG of him from way back when, exactly
mixed in with him now. So yeah, they put money into that,
and they have been this is the second big rush they've had. They did something with Transformers when Bumblebee came back out, and they did a big thing where all the classic cars were pulling up into their parking lot. So it's not like this is foreign to them, but yeah, it just caught me off guard, I guess. Short lessons because the Showbiz there. But you disagree, agree? Let us know. That'll bring us to trailers. You first to me, sir, because I'm already laughing at mine.
All right, I'll go then. Okay. I don't even know how to describe this one. It starts like, I'm not gonna tell you the name. It starts out almost looking like one of those old paintings of the Last Supper or something, where it's the guy's just sitting there in this robe, and it kind of zooms in, and then his head or something, or his crown bursts into flame. It looks kind of art house, but in a good way. Not that our else is bad, but it just looks super arty and just over the top, kind of not your traditional sci-fi medieval movie. And it's called The Green Knight.
Yes.
And I don't even really know how to, because the the trailer does a good job of giving you little bits and pieces without giving you everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't really even like describe like what's going to happen other than like this guy's building his story or whatever.
The official tag is a new take on the Arthurian tale.
Yeah, so it's just I mean, you have to check it out for yourself to see what I'm getting at. It's arty, but yet it hides a lot and gives you just enough to make your imagination go crazy and you want to see more. Yes. And it's got some cool fantasy bits in it. Like you see the guy that looks like, I don't know what he is, what kind of a creature he is with an axe, but it looks well done. And I'm excited to see it mainly because it's getting my imagination running and I have no idea like what I'm going to, get when I finally sit in the theater.
Yeah, I agree. I was very, I was at the edge of my seat and man, this is gorgeous. But at the same time, is this something that I would watch? But then, like you said, the guy with the axe shows up. I'm like, yep, I'm going to watch this. But mine is a very large depart from that. The Iron Mask. So this trailer dropped on the 13th of this month, and it hasn't been like you would think it would be everywhere with the individuals in it. You have the Man in the Iron Mask story with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan. So it's the Man in the Iron Mask. Arnold is in this tower and they have the prince, the rightful king, locked away. And Jackie Chan, looks like an old monk. Arnold's just like an old British redcoat. Jackie's just like an old, like the drunken master you've seen him dressed as before. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to break out the Man in the Iron Mask. And Arnold, the first thing you hear is, you think you can escape from here? This is the tower. Jackie is like, suddenly it cuts to Jackie talking to the Man in the Iron Mask. Here, get this to, such and such. And Iron Mask is like, okay. And then the trailer becomes this completely different movie of the now escaped Iron Mask guy getting attachment to this little chick in China, and dragons are flying all over the place, and there's a witch they have to stop. And then it periodically cuts back to Jackie Chan and Arnold fighting, throwing out one-liners at each other. Don't touch that. That is the Genghis Khan's hat. Jackie Chan goes, oh, this isn't the hat. This is a bedpan or whatever.
This doesn't even sound like a real movie. It sounds like you had a dream. This was your dream.
I thought the trailer was fake the more I watched it because it doesn't feel like the movies connect. It feels like it's two trailers from two different movies, but somehow they all tie together. And I don't know if Jackie and Arnold fight the entire movie while the other adventure is going on in the tower, but God, you need to watch this. It's so weird, and I don't know. But yeah, check out the Iron Mask trailer. Because if anything, you'll get a kick out of it, like I did. And yeah, I think that was Arnold's first appearance in 2020. Good to have him back. That will bring us to Fantasy Island. Watch but if you would not mind.
The enigmatic Mr. Rourke makes the secret dreams of his lucky guests come true at a luxurious but remote tropical resort. But when the fantasies turn into nightmares, the guests have to solve the island's mystery in order to escape with their lives.
Thank you, Watchbot. Sir,
yes.
Gotta tell you. Mm-hmm. Just written down some facts here. I guess that's original came out, the TV show back in 1978. Went on until 1984. That's a pretty good run. A luxurious but remote tropical island result. The enigmatic Mr. Rourke somehow makes the secret dreams of his well-heeled guests come true through twists of fate, occasionally turn those dreams into nightmares. He's assisted by Tattoo, a little person who could be trusted to sing out. Okay. I don't really remember that one. I just remember Tattoo. It's a famous line. The plane, boss the plane. But Blumhouse, in Blumhouse fashion, has turned this into a true horror movie. Well, it's rated as a horror movie.
It's a comedy, science fiction, fantasy.
Okay, I like that description a lot better. Because it was not like every time they threw in the comedy, I kept flashing to Chris Rock saying, "You got to add air to the horror movies."
Right.
Like this better not be his song. Because that wasn't a horror movie to me. It was like, I guess what you described.
Right.
Because and I have to say, I've seen all the reviews. I've heard the critics. So I went in arms crossed. I wanted to hate this movie. Yeah. I was pouting. I was like, this is going to be stupid. Dumb. Look what they're doing right there. That's dumb. But I had a good time. Yeah. What do you think of this one?
Same exact thing. Again, I've mentioned it before, lowering your expectations. I went in, I still think it was a good idea, Fancy Island. I remember the show, barely, but I remember it existed, so I think it's a good idea. Then you go in, you're like, okay, it's not going to be the Shawshank Redemption, right? We're not getting that. You're not getting that level of movie. So yeah, I'm prepared for whatever they throw at me, but I wasn't prepared for this. Yeah. And I did have more fun than I expected to have. I think that from a fun standpoint, the movie does exactly what it's supposed to.
Agreed 100%. I did have one gripe. Well, maybe more than one. But Melanie, that chick, did she feel like she was overacting to you the entire movie?
I felt like it fit.
Okay,
it fit for what this movie is. Again, we're not getting Shawshank. This is for what this movie is. I think she did okay.
Oh, Annie Dufresne didn't get taken by the sisters that day. I've seen her in other stuff, and she's not horrible, but for some reason she just was like. Yeah, I don't know if it was overacting. It just didn't seem like she took a breath ever.
Maybe that's just what she thought the character was like. Could you imagine going through what she went through and then, having to be around all these people, and then so maybe her anxiety was up, so she was, a little turnt. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess the way things ended, maybe. Yeah, let's talk the fantasies before we get into these characters. Well, I guess we should get into the characters briefly first. Melanie, she's the lead. She wants revenge on a college or a high school bully. Very mean, narcissistic, kind of bold, take what she wants chick. Mm-hmm. Not the biggest fan of her. But that's how you weren't supposed to really like her character, I guess, at first. So that worked, I guess. Gwen, this chick, I've seen this woman, this fine, upstanding woman. I've been watching the show. Oh, geez. I just Designated Survivor. There we go. And she's a big part in that. She just is kind of shrouded in mystery. You don't really know what she wants. She doesn't really know what she wants. Who do they have here next? Chastity? I'm not sure which one she was. Was she the revenge chick?
No. It must have... I don't know the name Chastity. I don't know who that one was. Because Julie, wasn't it Julie, the other woman that had relations, or
she was the
something with the main dude?
She was a tattoo lady.
Yeah. So I don't know who that person is you're talking about.
And Sloane was the revenge chick.
Yeah, that was the revenge. Yeah, I don't know who that was.
I don't know who Chastity was.
I think just made up somebody. She wasn't in the movie.
Mr. Rourke, I like this guy. I really do in some things, but I wasn't the biggest fan of him in this.
Yeah, I don't think he got to shine. Yeah. I think it seemed very his parts, and I don't think it was him because we've seen him do some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's good.
I just think it's this particular role he didn't really get to shine in. I think his part was like. I don't want to like.
He was
I don't know.
one level the entire time.
Yeah, he didn't get. Yeah, he didn't get very many moments. He didn't have the moments.
Which he should have though, because like he's the puppet master, quote unquote, in all this, you know. And I don't know. Michael Rooker, everyone's favorite. I don't know. He is a fun dude, and I've seen him in interviews and at Comic-Cons and things like that. This dude is nuts in real life.
Yeah, he kind of played somebody that was mildly nuts in the movie too, in a way. Yeah. It's like they picked the perfect person for that role. And he's like, "Sure, I'll do that. I'll just be myself."
We had J.D. Reaver and T, or Brax, I guess, Weaver. They, you know,
they're okay. They were fun. I felt like they were like the comedy relief.
Yeah, when the first thing you see their characters do is walk off the plane and go, "Yo, low," you know you're in for a good time. Patrick's character, I just felt like he wanted sympathy, and I had none for him.
All right, I didn't think much of him. He was okay. He had to be like I don't mean that like the straight guy is like straight, not gay, but I mean straight guy is like the solid dude or whatever. I guess was his place in the cast. But outside of that, I mean, I don't think he brought too much. I don't think anybody really brought too much. I mean, I think everybody got a little taste. Yeah. Like I know Melanie's character was supposed to be the main character, but I feel like everybody got their fair shake. Yeah,
they did a great job of dividing the time between everyone, I think.
But I don't think anybody really got the super shine, though. I mean, maybe towards the end when you find out something, but I don't think anybody really just blew up. I think the comedy relief was good, but yeah. Outside of that, I mean, I don't think anybody like really just. It was like, you know, just glowing ray of light that you just was drawn to.
So, getting into these fantasies, Melanie, as we heard a description of her, she was bullied in high school and has held that grudge into her adulthood to the point to where she wants to see someone tortured and humiliated. Is this something that happens?
I think that's a normal fantasy, yeah.
Holy cow.
I think there are people out there with this fantasy. I think it's more common than you think.
I could never see myself like holding a grudge that long.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones then.
to see like, oh, hey, I got a swirly. I came close to a swirly in high school. Luckily, I'm a bigger guy and I can fight people off. But like, I never was like, oh, one day I want to see that person bound, gagged, being tortured.
Well, maybe not to that extent, but you couldn't tell me there's not somebody in your life that you were like, oh man, if I ran into him, I'd punch him dead in the face. There's got to be one person. No, you love everybody. Okay.
Oh, not love. Hey, that's a strong word. There's people I would avoid, but I don't think I hate anyone strong enough to like want to see them like to the degree that chick was getting, you know? I don't know, man. But hers, and we can get more to this later if we do a spoiler section, does not make sense.
You don't think hers makes sense?
Like the fact of going through it, if you know what I mean, by learning what we learned later.
Yeah, okay.
But let's talk about
well, I still think it is part of it because that's still, it's like, I don't want to give away anything yet. Yeah, it still makes sense. It makes sense to me.
Okay. Gwen, her fantasy is she just feels incomplete with her life. Now that I get, a lot of people feel that way. They have regrets, and they don't want that regret anymore. They want to fix that regret. that's that's fine, and that connected with Mr. Rourke. So
Yeah, I think hers was more common. I think to like everybody,
even though he made it seem like it was like the most outrageous thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the solution was because not everybody feels that way, but not everybody knows exactly what they could change to make it perfect.
Yeah, so
that's why I think hers is more relatable to everybody, because everybody's got that thing, but nobody really knows what they could have done or what in the past could have. She thought she did, but then as you find out, maybe that wasn't it.
Yeah, I mean, and you would think what she tried to do would atone her, in some way for what happens later on. But we're going to get to that. JD and Brex, they're that's don't have to even talk about that one. That's what Rourke said. Like, it's a lot of sex stuff. It's just like, so their fantasy is normal. They just want to party and have a good time. Yeah, they want everything. They want to have it all or whatever. Patrick, now this is an interesting one for me. He wants to do basically a live action role play. Call out, which you could just go and do.
Yeah, but it's weird because then it turns into he had daddy issues, and then so it's I don't know how one thing turned into the other, unless it knew what his real fantasy was, and then he just thought it was the role playing army man thing.
Yeah, basically he just wanted courage. It seems like, I don't know. But yeah, okay, those are the fantasies. Let's go ahead and get the spoilers, because I want to talk about this. Okay. This Melanie thing. Spoiler if you have not seen it. Why stop it? Like, why not just go full on torturing her and then go in there and kill her? Like, why go through the whole charade?
Because you know from the end that there's a bigger picture.
Yeah, but you don't need Sloane.
Why wouldn't you need Sloane? She's part of it.
But she didn't have a problem killing off or letting JD get killed off. But that was another part. One thing I had an issue with. Suddenly, it's like she wants them all together at one point in the movie, where at first they could have died at any moment. Like, Patrick could have died on the beach when the guys first started shooting at them. JD did actually die. Maggie Gwen could have died in the fire. After the second time. So, or she could have just lived her life out perfectly and not died at all. So I don't get all of a sudden how it became we got to get them all together, and she wants to kill them, all together.
I kind of think. Sorry to interrupt you, but I kind of think she wanted to prolong the torture because she had been tortured for so long,
for years. Yeah,
she wanted to prolong it, and that's one of the reasons why she didn't want her Sloane to just die right away, because she wanted her to have to suffer. But
she could have sat there just torturing her in that room like the whole time, and then came out and got the rest of them.
But then you wouldn't have had that sweet reveal where she's like, "Guess what?"
But she still put that on the others.
Yeah. She wanted an entire Happy Meal. She just didn't want the burger. She wanted all that. Sure. So I think she just wanted to stretch it out and make it last, and just torture people to her little delight.
I felt real ties with Lost. I don't know if you were a Lost fan, but I got some Lost feels with this. The island kind of was in control and needed a host. Spoilers if you have not seen that very old show, Lost. But but that's the one thing I really loved about Mr. Rourke's character, how he was kind of at the behest of the island. He didn't really have control like you thought he did.
Yeah, he was basically a prisoner. Of his own making. Yeah, it's weird though, because now at the end of that, spoiler, we already spoiled. He's not as prisoner anymore.
But he chooses to stay anyway.
Yeah, which is weird because he could, ask for something else now, a new because he's not bound by that one anymore. I don't know, or maybe you only get one. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess they kept driving that home. You only get one fantasy.
But then it doesn't make sense why he would stay unless she's going to come back anyway, even though he let her go that time. Mm-hmm. They kept saying she dies and then she comes back.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a little confusing there.
Yeah.
But, I think my favorite part of all of it was we got a creation of a tattoo. Mm-hmm. The plane, boss, the plane. I was like, yeah.
That was, I gotta say, that was kind of, I mean, it was slightly clever. I mean, I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. So the fact that it did, it was like,
and they were setting it up like throughout the movie.
Yeah, the whole movie. Yeah, they did it. So yeah, I gotta give it to them for that.
Any standout moments for you?
I was really surprised by all the twists. Mm-hmm. I did not expect all the different. I mean, I did expect for their fantasies to go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, I think, the most obvious thing that you think could happen. Mm-hmm. But then all the extra stuff that happens, all the other twists, I did not see any of those things coming. And I don't really want to pick just one because it was one after the other. I kept watching and thinking, this isn't the best movie I've ever seen, but I sure can't turn away from it because they keep twisting it.
It was a fun ride.
Going somewhere else, and I just got to keep going. I got to hold on because it's not over yet. So I enjoyed that part of it. It was just a twist that we ruined for everybody who's listening.
Hey, they can turn away and come back and finish up, which I hope people do. But I gotta agree. I was blown away by some of the fun twists. The big coming together connection that we kind of got a glimpse of when Gwen went into the fire. Yep,
the actual villain in the movie as opposed to who we thought it was the entire time.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, but he kind of was still if after all of that,
I think he redeemed himself.
Would you just kind of walk off and be like, so what are you going to be doing on this island, Mr. Rourke? It's like, no, you're getting a nut shot.
Well, he said it was he said it was like a dream. Like you remember how it makes you feel, but you don't actually remember what happens.
Yeah, when you leave.
So I think it was already wearing off as they were going to the plane.
Yeah.
And they were probably so excited just to be leaving because they were like, well, holy crap, this is not what I, signed up for.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But so I got to ask you, because you kind of defended it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Is there someone you would choose to torture?
Not torture. No, not that far to the point where what she's doing. But there are a few people out there that deserve their comeuppance. That's for sure.
I gotcha. Okay. So this movie, as I mentioned, is being torn apart. 4.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes. Holy shit. Tomato meter 10%. Audience score 47.
That's pretty bad. But I gotta say, I think people were expecting like the Shawshank Redemption on an island with, or more like crazy fantasies or something. I don't know, but I think you got exactly what this movie should have gave you.
Yeah, I like you said, I had a blast. It was very much an unexpected, fun ride. I wouldn't call it a horror movie per se. But yeah, it was fun. It was very fun. Different from, I guess, the other stuff Blumhouse puts out. But I had a very good time.
Yep. And for me, mainly it was a twist again. It was all I thought I knew, but I didn't. So when I'm surprised, I'm happy. I feel like it's a successful event.
Same here. Yeah. You guys liked it? Didn't like it? Let us know. Other than that, that's the Fantasy Island episode. I hope you had your fantasies come true, which I'm sure you didn't. But where you can find us, GoWatchMovie.com. You can find the trailers at GoWatchMovie.com. The news stories covered at GoWatchMovie.com. You can find us anywhere a podcast can be played. iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify. Leave comments. Go ahead and chew us up if you disagree with us. Let us know. I do have to ask you, did you see the bat suit?
I have not.
The video's going around. Looks pretty good. He looks good in it. They went a different route cutouts with the bat symbol. Doesn't look bad at all. But yeah, other than that, that is episode 123. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
The plane. Go watch it.
Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety split it. Go watch